All right, let's make sure everything is good. Da, 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 da. Where? All right, I'm live. All right, yeah. Happy Saturday, everyone. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. I hope your weekend is going good. My Saturday has been nice and relaxing. Just has just been a wonderful day off. Got in a lot of gaming, specifically Hogwarts Legacy. Um, but yeah, man, there's been a couple things that come up that I did want to talk about today. You know, and I hope that my views on this matter. I hope that it provides nice insight. But other than that, let's just jump into it. So as you see on screen, earlier this week, it was reported that Saudi Arabia is now Nintendo's largest outside investor, and uh, for many of us, I don't think that we need to. I think that we all know, at least to some level, some of the, if you will, controversial ways that Saudi Arabia runs its country, usually get some form of human rights, right? And with them being such a large invest, the largest investor in Nintendo, I'm just curious, where's the outrage? Because we saw the outrage with Hogwarts Legacy over J.K. Rowling, who had nothing to do with the game, didn't come up with the concept to make it. I think the only thing she gets is a royalty check because she created the Wizarding World and Harry Potter, right? But with Nintendo, who's literally getting money from a country that's done worse, far worse than say that they're biological women, actually treat women terribly, would actually kill you if you're gay and so on. I'm just curious, you know, where's the outrage, and I want to see if people are going to boycott Nintendo now. I want to see if people are going to have moral dilemmas on buying Zelda later this year, knowing that some of that money is going to go to the Saudi Arabia's pockets, because that's what investments aren't just throwing money for the sake of it. You invest in something with the exception of of getting something out of it, usually financial, right? And so I'm just I'm just curious on the matter. And one second, everyone. Let me get this on screen. So yeah, man, I just, it's just one of these things. Now, let me be clear. If if you bought Hogwarts Legacy, you're not a terrible person. If you still buy Nintendo games, you're not a terrible person. Individually, nobody has the power to to stop anything big on a large scale like this as an individual person. That's just not possible, right? It's just curious to me that this gets silenced, and yet everyone wants to ruin, and by everyone isn't a literal statement. Let me correct myself. The people who are upset wants to ruin J.K. Rowling's livelihood, if you will, and make sure she gets nothing. Uh, you know what I'm saying? And I just don't think that's right. I just don't see I just don't see how Nintendo gets a pass for this, but Hogwarts Legacy doesn't. And again, as far as I know, J.K. Rowling didn't. As far as I know, J.K. Rowling doesn't kill people if you're gay in her country, which I think she's from the UK, right? As far as I know, she doesn't have backwards laws against, that goes against what a lot of, if you will, modern countries feel shouldn't be allowed. And yet nothing against Nintendo. So Nintendo could accept money from these countries, which and listen, I'm just playing devil's advocate here. Hey, what's up, Lewis Frag? Thank you for joining, man, on this Saturday. And look, I'm just playing devil advocates here, you know. Uh, but my thing is just that there is this massive controversy around if you're, still to the point that people were harassing those who were buying and playing Hogwarts Legacy, and I just feel like if that was the line you drew, why why isn't it with Nintendo? To me, isn't it worse to take money from a country that we know uh does does stuff like oppress women and will literally kill you if you're gay in those type of countries and stuff over over somebody who just said that, well, she's a woman. Somebody please tell me on how Hogwarts Legacy situation is worse than Nintendo. That's all I'm saying. Do I'm not even mad at Nintendo, because business is business, right? And Louis Frag here said the gaming media is a complete joke right now. Yeah, man. And I'm gonna talk about something else the gaming media did this week that well, actually yesterday. That's insanity. That really proves their joke. Because the other topics I'm going to talk about, oh, it's it's going to be funny, at least to me. Garrett Smith said, "Am I late to the party? No, sir. No, sir. I just got started a few minutes ago. You are not late at all." I'm just enjoying my Saturday. I was enjoying my Saturday as always, Terrence, getting some gaming in, and I just want to talk about these topics here, right? I just find it funny, um, that I just want to know where's the outrage for Nintendo? Where are all the articles and videos from guys like Digital Foundry, um, about how, oh man, we can't review Nintendo because of what Saudi Arabia does. It's almost like y'all don't give a damn and only jump on whatever social issue is popular at the moment. At least that's how I feel when I see stuff like that. It's a Redfall controversy. Yes. And I use the term controversy lightly, Terrence, because it was an outright lie, actually. It was an outright lie. But I'm going to get to that shortly, man. I'm going to get to that shortly. Because right now, right now, I'm hoping somebody sees this that jumps on that gives me why they will be buying the next Zelda game, but they didn't buy Hogwarts Legacy. You know why and trans people extremely tiny minority, less than 1% in every country. Actually, the highest country with trans is like 1% in Thailand. All right, that's how that's how little they are. But the point is, man, I just want to know, hey Nintendo, hey guys, you boycotting? You boycotting Nintendo now? I mean, to me personally, Nintendo. Listen, I don't really hold businesses to some type of moral standard. You'd have to be it'd have to be pretty extreme for me to kind of, how can I say this? It'd have to be pretty extreme for me to be like, all right, I can't support this company. I think if the head of Nintendo was oppressing women in Japan, then I'd understand it. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, sometimes business is business. Fortunately, business is dirty. That's why the term dirty money exists, and dirty money is unfortunately everywhere. Arguably it might be inescapable unless your life is around charity. And even then, it's not uncommon for there to be corruption around charity. So, if you will, uh, if you will, that's kind of how I feel there. Yeah, but I just wanted to talk about that real quick on Nintendo, because I saw this article and it just baffled me that this is just reported straightly, and I don't see Richard Ledbetter at Digital Foundries making videos about how he had a moral crisis. He wasn't going to review the next Nintendo game. Hey, what's up, Tool Man? He wasn't going to review the next Nintendo game, but he decided to because because Oh, because the game is popular or whatever the hell that happened with uh with Hogwarts, man. It's just like, and the thing is, my thing is, I don't have a problem when you support when you take a stand. I just wonder the consistency. You know what I'm saying? I just want to know why Hogwarts Legacy got controversy over one woman saying something they don't like, but Nintendo's getting a free pass over a country that we objectively know has harmed people far more than just saying something they don't like. I just want to know where the line draws there. Let's see what else. Yeah, so as our brother Terrence Smith alluded to earlier, we got to talk about the lie. Oh, the big bad lie that was said this week or yesterday, actually, and it's about Redfall. Redfall. I've noticed Redfall's kind of being attacked a lot. I'm not the only one that's noticing this, right? That Redfall, the game always online and this and that. Now there's this flat out lie going around yesterday that the physical release is only included a download code and no disc. This I pulled directly from Bethesda's site. All right. And it says right here, the physical retail version of Redfall, Xbox Standard Edition, does come with a Blu-ray disc. The Byte Back Edition can be purchased separately. Within the Byte Back upgrade, you will find a code that grants you the upgrade in-game items. Owner of the Xbox physical version of Redfall who wish to buy the Byte Back upgrade can do so either digitally or at participating retailers. And this is why. So the Xbox community notoriously, right? Notoriously, if I say any group in gaming don't like the gaming media, it's Xbox fans, and it's stuff like this, man. It's stuff like this where they just seem to just keep lying and lying and lying for, and then it seems like okay, how does an editor see something like this and not fact check it before they hit play, right? I mean, not before they hit play, but before they allow them to upload it, right? How does let's see. Hey, all right, Tucky, I'm about to send it to you right now, brother. Yeah, how does you know what I'm saying? How can I word this? It's like time. Just the other day on the Unlimited Truth, the Limited Truth we did earlier this week. Um, it was the lie about Game Pass cannibalizing sales. And then not even 2 days later, it's this lie about Redfall, right? It's this lie about Redfall. And Paltrex, the escapists are no better than IGN IMO. No, man. Not honestly, almost none of these gaming journalist sites, Paltrex, are any better than each other. Kotaku's no better than IGN. IGN's no better than Kotaku, the escapist, Metro, you name it. Hell, even that dude at Forbes, Paul Tossi, even he ain't no good. And and just and it's just the way that they lie just so baffling to me. Because you go to Google, you look into it, and then boom, you find the truth and nothing to get outraged over. You know what I'm saying? Nothing to get upset over. Louis Frag here said, I'm enjoying the fact that these so called insiders are getting roasted. The hate towards Xbox is nuts, and they're obviously living in the past. Yeah, man, they're living hard in the past, very hard in the past. And listen, the day of Sony being King Conqueror Gaming, where the PS2 had 90% of the console market and all this other stuff, that as close to a monopoly as we ever had it in gaming, if in my opinion. Uh, they want them days back, but that's just not going to happen. But that was over 20 years ago where the PS2 had that level of dominance. Now in modern day, it's the Xbox era. It's the reason why and I know it's baffling to some people. They look at Sony sales, Microsoft, Microsoft, as far as we know, has sold over 20 million Xbox Series X and X consoles to this date. Sony has done 30 million, they say, right? And I know that that is baffling because they think that okay, the sales must mean Sony's making more money. That's not how it works, man. That's not how it works, right? As we've seen, Microsoft are the ones who are able to afford Bethesda and Activision, and for a reason, right? And for a reason. Hey, Tuck, what's up? Hey, what's up,
Man,
Snake?
what's up, man? What's up, dude? How you doing?
I'm good, Tuck. How are you?
Man, just, oh man, doing real good, man. Just taking it easy, man. Just really just got up.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's a nice Saturday, man. It's a nice
yeah,
Saturday. Yeah, I
yeah.
just wanted to talk about these topics, man. So while you're here, let me get your thoughts on this, man. What do you think about this live Redfall? Did you see these articles yesterday on Redfall?
Uh,
Okay, so
uh.
so yesterday they put out this lie that Redfall physical copy will only include digital copy. It's no disc. And yet when you go to their website, as you see on screen here, it says the physical retail version of Redfall will come with the Blu-ray. So I just want to get your thoughts, man, on another lie towards Xbox, another, if you will, hit piece. And if you ask me, Tuck, it's gonna fail. It's gonna fail like every one of these articles that are just blatant lies.
Okay, so let me get this straight. So Xbox is gonna sell this thing physical, right?
Yeah,
That's good. That is real good. I'm glad to see them do that. Okay, I'm glad to see them do that. Okay, but man, I mean, when I did my Instagram post earlier, I don't get people, man. People just do not. They will sit up there and tell a blatant lie
hmm
without reading the facts.
right.
They do that on everything. But when it comes down to little pitiful Sony, they say it's all a good thing. But Microsoft don't get no love for nothing. They don't get no love for nothing, except for the real
hmm
people that really like to play, Xbox games.
Right. And let me add to that, Tuck. Is it me, Tuck Master? Or does it seem like the better Xbox does, the more intense the hate is?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, it's really intense because it's like you said. It's like I just got through talking to my friend just minutes ago. He gonna go and talk about he's hearing that what you call it for the to just be online based only. I said, man, that ain't nothing new. We all knew that. We all knew it was gonna be online based. But the thing about it is, you can still play your single. Who gives a care? As long as you
Yeah.
can play your single player and your multiplayer game on, then that's all that matters.
Yep. Yep.
The internet don't mess up as much as it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be messing up all the doggone time, but I'm sorry. I mean, everybody said, well, the only way you can play it is if you're online. How many
Yeah.
people are online?
Yeah. Well, I'll say this about the always online thing. I first of all, I think it's for anti-pirating reasons. Now personally, I would prefer. I'm an options guy. If a game could be played offline, just let it play offline,
Right.
unless it's like multiplayer. That will always be my preference. With that said, the fact that it's always online isn't going to affect me for playing the game. Right? It's not.
No.
It's not even close. You know, it's a situation where they made the decision, and we'll see if it works or not. Redfall still looks fantastic. It's
Well,
just funny how this game is starting to get just this game just getting this weird unnecessary hate. I'm noticing, Tuck.
well, just think about it. It wasn't getting. I mean, it was getting hate from the beginning.
Yeah.
So now the hate is really bad, and what makes it so bad, the Sony people want the damn game.
Yep.
That's what makes it so bad. They want the damn game. I mean, they feel like, and I'm gonna tell you straight up, and I want to see how you feel about this
Mhm.
because I don't know how it went down when they bought Bethesda when they got rid of Redfall and Starfield. But my recollection is that if they already had contracts with them to put that on the Sony game, I think Microsoft would have got that by the agreement.
Right.
But as far as I'm concerned, I didn't hear anything about any kind of contract being done because the game wasn't even close to being done yet.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
The contracts that they had was with Deathloop and that game Ghostwire Tokyo.
right. And outside of that, that was it.
Yeah, and when Deathloop came out, they were all like, "Look, Xbox, Sony's got more Bethesda games than y'all." And now they're eating their words because we're about to get 3 Bethesda games this year alone: Hi-Fi Rush, Redfall in May, and Starfield whenever they're ready to show that.
Right. I mean, and then what about the news about Starfield that I'm hearing? Because I didn't get a full glance of it because I went to sleep on it. They're talking about that, where I said, man, I don't want to hear it because I know the media people, they'll tell all kind of lies on that one. So
Yeah,
I
I
left
haven't
that
even
alone.
I haven't even heard the news that you're referring to.
Right. I mean, so it's not no news because everybody would have been talking about it. So, but no, man. But this thing with Redfall, I'm gonna love the game when the game comes out. I hope everybody else loves it too.
Hmm.
But like you said, I mean, but this is just ridiculous. I mean, these people just want to sit tell all these lies on Microsoft and their games and everything. But like Sony don't do the same damn thing.
Right.
But if Sony does it, oh, it's okay. It's okay because it's them. I mean,
Yeah.
I just don't get it, man. I really don't get it.
Yeah, I'm with you there, man. I'm with you there. And let me address the chat real quick. Smitty Smith said, once again, Xbox make the buffoons look stupid. Yeah, yeah, and they're gonna look
Yeah.
stupid when Redfall's a hit, when Starfield kills the gaming industry, in the sense that it's gonna dominate the gaming industry, when Forza becomes the greatest racing game ever this summer. You're right, Smitty Smith. Xbox continue to make them look goofy. Look, they still mad that about Hi-Fi Rush, Tuck.
They still mad about that?
They
Oh
st-
my lord!
they still mad
Oh,
about Hi-Fi
because
Rush.
they come on that beloved Sony system.
Yeah,
Oh my lord! I mean, well, they can kiss that goodbye too because they ain't gonna never get that either.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. That's definitely not going to.
I mean, but you know what? But the weirdest thing is that now since that game been out, that game been doing real good and everything and all that stuff. All the Sony people they bashing it. They say, oh, it ain't all that great and all that stuff. I'm like, what the heck y'all talking about?
Yeah, man.
Now
It's
on your system is not good.
like children who can't get their toy, man.
Yeah,
Toolman said. Toolman here said, why does so many American people hate Xbox hardware and software, yet love the software that Microsoft, an American-based company, produces for the majority of all PC operating systems and apps? Because they grew up on Sony and Nintendo. It's almost that simple, Tool man. They grew up on Sony and Nintendo, and so their nostalgia won't let them just accept Xbox for what it is as the best platform, in my opinion. And you know what, Tuck? Having your opinion is fine. I'm not going to sit here and try to convince Sony fans to jump to Xbox or Nintendo fans to do the same. What
right,
I am
right.
calling out is when articles like this Tuck just blatantly lie. When they say Redfall won't have a physical release, and yet according to their own site that you can look up right now, it does. Hey, Daya, thank you for joining as always. The first lady of chat. I know she's going to have some fantastic comments. Terrence Smith said, "Did y'all know Dreamcast guy posted a video about it, corrected his statement in the comments, but refused to take down the video?" Yeah, yeah. Of course, he refuses to take it down, right? So after after being proven lie, he just puts up a comment that's going to get lost in the shuffle. Of course, that's how it is, man. I did
Yeah,
not see that, but I didn't see because I don't watch Dreamcast guys. So thank you for informing me on stuff like that. I ain't gonna watch him just sit there and lie to my face for 10 minutes so we could get a YouTube check. Daya here said, Unlimited, it's another attack before the game release. Expect the same thing to happen to Starfield. Those who hate Xbox try to get ahead of the games in order to do their damage. Yeah, that's absolute fact, Daya.
true.
And Tuck,
That's
and
very
Tuck,
true.
And Tuck, if you thought the Hi-Fi Rush situation was crazy, if you thought the Redfall Rush, not Redfall Rush, but Redfall situation was crazy, how bad do you think it's going to be when Starfield comes?
It's gonna be real bad. It's gonna be real bad.
Yeah, man.
Oh man.
Yeah, stuff like this is going to be an entertaining ride, right? That's how I see it. Tuck. It's an entertaining roller coaster. My thing has always been where I draw the line at Tuck is just being lied to, and this lie about Redfall with the diss situation, that's the stuff that kind of makes me make these type of videos, right, Tuck? I just don't want people
Yeah.
to. I don't want what I don't like about the lies is that people that only read the headline then base their opinion off it, and then you got all this fake outrage towards Xbox because the headline says Game Pass cannibalizes games when it doesn't. Redfall won't have physical release when it does. You know what I'm saying? And I just don't like how influential these lying articles are.
I mean, and the thing about it is, and this is the strangest thing about the whole damn thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I changed over the time with these consoles. I had an Atari, I had a Sega, I had an Atari, I had a Nintendo. I mean, I had an Atari, I had a television, I had Atari 5200, I had Nintendo, I had a PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing about it is, and this is what my friend did to me when the first Xbox came out.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was a diehard Sony, PS2, Sony this, Sony that. Man, he opened my eyes to the Xbox. I haven't never looked back since.
Mm.
I mean,
Yeah,
there's no reason for me to look back. So people just need to stop going for one system and one system only and play other stuff.
right.
I mean, like I said, I'd never go back to Sony after all the stuff that I had to go through with them on the PS3.
Mm-hmm.
I would never go back to them. Knowing that I got hacked, knowing that I could not, I called them, try to get my money back, couldn't get it back, try to get a game, and all that stuff. See, the first game I bought from Xbox Live, the first game I bought from Xbox was a digital game,
Mm-hmm.
and it was Madden. It was the first Madden that came out on the Xbox.
Oh, okay, that's what's up.
When it came out, I didn't like it. You know
Oh.
what? They reimbursed my money, and it did. And I thought it was gonna take them they said it might take like 2 days.
Uh-huh.
And my money is back that day.
Oh, that's what's up. Yeah. I had to refund the game before because for some reason it wasn't working when I bought it digitally, and they refunded to me. They refunded to me super fast too. Yeah, so my experience with Microsoft customer service has really been quite top notch, man. No
Right, it's been
complaints
real
at all.
good. I mean, I haven't had no problem with Microsoft at all as far as the customer service at all.
Right. And let me get back to the chat for a little bit. Channel here said it's not 1999 anymore. The internet is a thing now. Yep. And again, channel. I still do prefer my games to not be always online. I could be always online, Tuck. I noticed those games are a little tricky with quick resume where if you go long periods of time not playing it, it will reset. So that's kind of annoying. But other than that, again, the always online isn't going to stop me from playing it. It's just something minor that I'd prefer not to have.
I mean, well, the thing about it is, if you think about it, it's gonna always be online anyway because they got a multiplayer element. I mean, you can play with your team.
That's right. That's right. It does have that co-op multiplayer in it.
You got that co-op multiplayer, so it gotta be online.
Yeah,
and
true.
I think it's there to keep things track
Mm-hmm.
of what's going on. I don't know what they're gonna do with it, but I'm hoping that they do a good like tracking people and all that stuff for all for good stuff instead of all the bad stuff. Yeah, I mean we are hearing the bad stuff, but I like for them to do a tracking number system for the gameplay on how people's really playing, how people really is being excited about the game.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. So that's one thing I would love to see.
Yeah, I mean, my hype level for Redfall right now is like a 9 out of 10. I am extremely pumped for it, especially after that last developer direct show they did in January. it's just been I watched that gameplay video so many times. I can't wait for it, man. Lewis Frag here said, I hope Xbox doesn't give them any more early codes to review the games. Yeah,
Thank
man.
you.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, Tuck. Thank you to Lewis Frag. I'm with you there. At some point, there needs to be consequences for all this nonsense. You know,
I'm hoping this is what I'm hoping with Starfield, Redfall. When they come out with like when they come out with Starfield, no, do it just like you did Redfall. I mean, just like you did
Hi-Fi Rush.
Come out with it. That means that the reviewers can't do nothing if people like it. The reviewers can't say nothing.
Nope.
Especially digital fuckery. They can't say nothing. So, hey, I'm hoping that Microsoft does that. Mirror that with all their games.
Yeah. Listen, Tuck. Sony doesn't give people codes who don't review their games highly. You do know that, right? You do know that if you have a history of not giving their overrated games 9s and 10s, they'll stop giving you review codes.
Yeah.
So why can't Xbox do the same?
Xbox should do the same. All the way the same.
Yeah. And Mr. Kima said, just like 2013, the Xbox hate is real from the gaming media. And what's crazy, Mr. Kima, is that in 2023, a decade later, Xbox is in even a more powerful position in the gaming world. They're about to own Activision. They already own Bethesda. We've got more games on Xbox than what Sony has coming, because we don't know what Sony got other than Spider-Man, Tuck.
And that's it.
Yeah. Wait, no, I know. They got PSVR 2 that's going to flop. Like this article on screen here says, PlayStation VR 2 is guaranteed flop. and yes, it will flop. And you know why it's going to flop, Tuck? Because you need a total of nearly $1,100 to play this game. And I know what you might think. No, I thought it cost $550, but you need a PlayStation 5 to play it. And then you need a game. Then you need a VR game, Tuck. And they're $70.
Right. I mean, so yeah, it's gonna flop. I mean, like I said, for people who got a PS5 already, but the thing about it is the way that the data economy is right now, people don't got no $500 some odd dollars to spend on the damn game. That's the reason why they were so damn disappointed in their pre-order numbers.
Yeah,
they were really disappointed.
Their numbers were so bad they had to cut it by half. Basically, they thought they're going to get 2 million. They had to cut it to 1 million, and I guarantee they're barely going to even sell that 1 million. I guarantee it. Because the first PlayStation VR only sold 5 million copies, Tuck, when the PlayStation 4 had over 110 million copies sold. They say that's
right.
That's a terrible share rate there.
Right.
And Smitty Smith said, isn't Gran Turismo 7 online only, including single player? Yep. And Sony's online capabilities are not as strong as Xbox's. So that game will always definitely had its issues. Now, and another thing, Smitty Smith, Redfall, you're not going to end up spending $200 on cars.
Right.
The only DLC you get is if you buy the Bite Back edition. That's it. Lewis Frax said they're still mad because the actual gamers got to play it first. How pathetic can some of these gaming media be? Lying is where you officially lose credibility and lose subscribers. Yes, exactly. And it's kind of weird, Lewis, how the media these days try to take it. If you don't succumb to their whims, Tuck, they try to take it out on you like they do to Xbox. And hey, Other Zinc, I texted you a link. If you want to join and you have time, feel free to, my man.
I want to hear what he got to say. I hope he does join, because I really enjoy y'all too. I really enjoy both of y'all because y'all really interact with each other.
Hey, thank you. And hey, man, you're always excellent as well, as you've been all the day. But yeah, what do you think about Lewis Frag comments here, man? You agree with him, Tuck, about how the media kind of takes it out on Xbox, if you will, and now they're just lying to lose credibility?
Man, yeah, he's right about all of that. I mean, we can just, They're losing subscribers and all that stuff, which is not going on. Xbox still got it going on. They still. I mean, they're gonna. I mean, what Atomic? What's that game? What is it called? Atomic Heart.
Yeah, Atomic Heart.
I mean, okay, that's supposed to be a real good game, but where's the game gonna come out? The game's gonna be on Game Pass, and the people from the Sony people are going to go and buy out the game outright. That's all it is to it. So, I mean, and see, this is what gets me so frustrated. Unlimited. This is what really gets me so frustrated is that I got people that get so doggone mad because Redfall and Starfield's not coming to the PlayStation.
Yep.
But they got an Xbox. I'm like, come on, y'all.
Yeah, here's the thing. I would understand that argument, Tuck, if Xbox didn't own Bethesda. But since they literally own it, they could do whatever they want with the game.
Yeah, they can do what they want with it.
Yeah, hey, Other Zinc, thank you for joining.
I mean,
hey man, what's going on?
Yeah, go ahead, Tuck.
They're lucky that Microsoft. I mean, since that contract was already written out with Deathloop and the other game, that's one good thing I like about Microsoft. Microsoft, if they gonna go and do it, they gonna go and let you have it, and that's it. I mean, the same thing for Minecraft. The man said the only thing. I mean, he wanted to sell Minecraft to Microsoft. He did. He only asked for one request that it does not be taken off all the platforms. And what did Microsoft do? Microsoft decided to say, well, you know what? We're gonna go buy it. Hey, no problem. So now we got the doggone deal with the CMA and the AMC and the FTC. Dude, get over it. Hell, Microsoft is a loyal company. That's the reason why Steam didn't have no problem with the agreement.
Right.
Because they said they didn't need no contract. They knew the agreement's good with Microsoft.
Yeah.
I mean, so what is the big deal? I mean, Sony got I'd be so glad. I want to see somebody bust Sony so bad because they trying to keep this daggone thing from just not going through, and it's going to go through.
And it's funny because they were subpoenaed by Microsoft and they refused to follow it. So they really don't want their dirt out there.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Zink.
Yeah. Hey, what did I miss? I just jumped in.
All right, yeah. Let me catch you up real quick. Let me just address Jay's comment, and I'll catch you up. He said they're hating on Redfall, but I guarantee they same people are going to ask if it comes to PlayStation. And so I put on screen for you, Jay. And this article is February 3rd, 2023. So not barely 2 weeks ago. Is there a Redfall for PlayStation 5? Yes. So of course they're begging for it, Jay. But to catch you up, Zink. So I don't. Tuck wasn't even here for the first topic. But Saudi Arabia is now Nintendo's largest outside investor. And I was asking, and nobody's ever going to answer this. Is anybody going to boycott Nintendo now? Are they? Because homegirl, J.K. Rowling, who had nothing to do with the development of Hogwarts Legacy, people were going to boycott that game over what she said. Saudi Arabia, Zink, we know with objective fact how they treat women over there, how they'll literally kill you if you're gay. And yet I'm not seeing anybody making videos about how they can't review the next Zelda and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, that's going to be consistent. They always have their agendas, and I think they want to leave Saudi alone. I think isn't that where we have there's that new golf league?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is.
And you have, I think there's a few prominent white guys over there, so they really don't want to come down too hard on them. So, it'll wind up surviving. It's like I guess it's their culture and their religion, and there's some things that they don't tolerate. Like I jumped on with Sega Man momentarily. I wanted to talk about that on the Unlimited Truth about how I don't even like Harry Potter. You guys know that, but I'm buying the game just because that woman J.K. Rowling stood on her square. You just can't force your ideas on someone else. You know, I don't force people to like Halo. People don't force me to like damn Pokemon. You
Right.
know, so people going to get a chance to do what they like. But that's very interesting, Unlimited. I'm glad you brought that out there. You
Yeah,
know, I
yeah, yeah. I thought it was interesting too. My thing, Zink, is that listen, I'm not going to sit here and harp on Nintendo for doing business. Dirty money exists everywhere, damn
mhm.
near, right? So I'm not going to sit here and plus I
Unlimited, we have dirty things.
yeah.
You know, the way just like I said on your on a Sega Man show, and I jumped back in with D-Rock, dude. Another black dude just got shot down by cops. He ain't even have a gun on him. He had nothing on him.
Wow.
So,
So why am I worrying about that? And we dying on a regular basis out here
Yeah, yeah, man.
on some bullshit.
Yeah, exactly, man. I'm just curious on I'm just curious on where the line draws with these people on how
Hmm.
they give Saudi Arabia a pass, but they want to ruin J.K. Rowling's livelihood.
Hmm.
The other thing, we're gonna talk about this shortly. This article. The other thing was,
hey, I want to get on that.
yeah, we definitely gonna. The other thing I was talking about was this lie, Zink, about Redfall's physical release.
Hmm.
So only me and Hebot and Sega Man, we're the dinosaurs that still buy shit
Hmm.
physically, right? Because we
Hmm.
collectors. And so the article yesterday, and this lie was everywhere. Redfall physical release will only include the code instead of the disc. Except you go to Redfall site that I literally have on screen, Zinc, and what does it say here? The physical retail version of Redfall will include a Blu-ray disc. So my thing, Zinc, is you know me, man. I kick back. I like to enjoy everything. I have fun with this, but I draw the line at lying. Right, I draw that's my thing, Zink. Is don't sit here and lie to me. And why I don't like lying, Zink, is that I noticed that these articles influence people heavily because
Absolutely.
they'll read the title, won't read the article, won't read, and then form their opinion off it. And then you deal in a world where the game people or whatever is being attacked off a headline. So I want to get your thoughts on it. I know you're a digital dude. I think, but for me, it's the lying angle more so than the disc stuff. So I just want to get your opinion on that.
Hey, Ultimate, hey, other thing before you take the point, before you take that over, let me ask you this, y'all. God of War, did that come with a disc, or was that a digital? Was that with a digital code?
Nobody said a thing. The
Nobody
collectors,
said a damn thing about it.
Hold
the
on, hold
co-
on. Whoa. I think I'm about to be educated here. What are y'all referring to?
The
well,
God of War just came out.
the God of War, it had a collector's edition and it did not have the disc in it.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
And the excuse was, well, they have digital consoles.
Uh
Well,
huh.
the Series S is digital also. So now
Yeah.
what?
right.
To be fair, we have something called Game Pass, so
Yeah.
so digital owners don't got to worry about it.
Hmm. And I wanted to say something. Louis Frag, I came in here on Louis Frag, and I guess you guys were talking about because he said they're still mad because the actual game, the actual gamers got to play it first. I guess he
Hmm.
was talking about Hi-Fi Rush.
Hmm.
Dude, you know what? Microsoft should do the same thing damn near to all of their games. And I said that before. And you see how Redfall is being criticized at every single corner of the game. Okay.
Yeah,
I even heard Rand talking down on the game. What is it? You didn't explain it to us. Why is it online only? Well, I don't know exactly why, but I can tell you Gears 5 Horde is online only because the
Hmm.
AI is controlled by cloud technology.
Right.
And it's a freaking amazing. It's amazing. And the reason I still play this game today. It's people coming, it's shit coming at you all over the place. And it really keeps you on your toes when
damn,
you
I didn't
on
really think about that. I didn't really think about the artificial intelligence. I didn't really think about
right.
that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, I think Tuck's explanation was perfectly fine
What did he say?
because of the co-op. This
Uh,
isn't
Well,
this isn't the co-op. The game has
mhm.
co-op.
Well, that could be a part of it too. And when you have, that's why Sony games don't have campaign co-op because it's going to use some of that RAM up,
Yeah.
and it's going to
Yeah,
it's going to thin the power of the game out. because you have to make AI for each character that's on screen. It just can't have random AI. You see, that's why Ellie can sit in the middle of a crowd of enemies and they act like they don't even see this chick.
Right.
So it's things like that. But uh, Microsoft should use the 30 million testers that they have and just I'd have a countdown. This is what they should do. I'd have a Starfield count since they already gave a release date of Redfall. Starfield, I would have a countdown, an official countdown, and just put it on Game Pass and just start running Starfield things with Todd Howard talking and stuff.
Yes.
Then have a that big Starfield state of play that everybody wants us to have that they already have, like Sea of Thieves have a monthly show, but people don't see it. Forza has a monthly show, but people don't see it. Whatever. So that's what I do, and I'd have them as I have this countdown. I have pre-orders for a collector's edition, pre-orders for a console. I would not announce a release date. I just have this countdown and just get people to a fever pitch. Have a Todd Hour and Bethesda uh, uh, state of gaming, and don't release a date after that, and just keep it going down. Because I guess a lot of people are playing the game currently, right? So I wouldn't give nobody a review copy. I wouldn't give them shit. I just release it into when that countdown is over, boom. Or maybe a week before the counter ends, I put Starfield up for pre-download and just have everybody scrambling. I wouldn't give anybody anything. That way they don't get a chance to hate like Starfield is being destroyed. Any chance they get, they trying to kill Redfall. I mean, every chance.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't give them anything.
Yeah, we got the first lady of chat, Daya. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Let's
having
go.
me.
Yeah,
Hi,
you family now, Daya. So you always welcome anytime.
Thank you.
Yeah, Dale, my boy. Before you go, Dale, one of my boys, Ramo, that I talk to this dude every day. At work, I'm at work, and we talking games all the time. He was like, "Man, that deal lady that you guys brought on, she is awesome." So I even before Sega Man and Unlimited, he's your biggest fan. But
Oh,
anyway,
really?
go ahead. Oh yeah, man, this dude is fired up.
Yeah, I just wanted to add some things to the Redfall controversy. I noticed that this is ramping up because I think they were really angry about Hi-Fi Rush.
Yes.
I saw not just from the fanboys, but also from the media. They were really angry at Microsoft for withholding that from them. It's like they like to have control over what they think is their territory, their turf. They and I just observed this, and I was just like, yeah, it's going to get pretty bad. And I think right now they're trying to get ahead of Redfall because I think that's where they see the weakness. Starfield, if it has bugs and stuff, people are used to that. If it's going to have some, because that game has so many gaming systems in it. It's not going to run like a simpler game, like I don't know, a Crash Bandicoot or something. It's not that. It has many layers to those type of games. Many things are running in the background, so it's easier for those type of games to have bugs at the beginning, but usually Bethesda work those things out. But Redfall, I think they're going after Arcane, although Arcane has a really good track record with their games, very good actually. If you look at Deathloop, nobody talked about how Deathloop had bugs in it or issues. It wasn't bricking people's consoles, So I think that they're nervous about Redfall, and I think because that type of game being different for Arcane, being a type of game where a group of people can all play at one time is the type of game that Sony wish they had.
Absolutely.
What an excellent point. And you're spot on, Daya. And you're spot on not only about everything. First of all, Starfield's going to be massive. If you're down in Starfield, Hey, you're in the wrong hobby, basically. But what you
Yeah.
said about Arcane Studios was spot on. First of all, I've been hyping up their games. Like I've always said, Dishonored was my favorite Bethesda game from the moment they bought the Bethesda deal, Activision,
Mhm.
not Activision, but Microsoft. I said on multiple podcasts, my favorite series, it wasn't Redfall, wasn't Elder Scrolls, it was actually Dishonored, because they're excellent
Oh,
stealth games. They're
yeah,
excellent,
yeah.
excellent stealth games. In level creativity you could do with the powers. You played as Corvo in the first one, either Emily or Corvo in the second one, and this girl Billy in the Death of the Outsider expansion. Loved all three of them, right? So I've always been a big fan of their games. And then Deathloop is a hit. Prey is amazing, right? And so that's why with Redfall, all they had now is Microsoft money.
Yep.
And as we've seen, Zinc, Day and Tuckmaster, when you got Microsoft money, you grow massively.
Yeah, and you could tell that drastic. Before I get on what Deal was speaking on, since you brought that up, you could see the massive difference between what's the Hellblade,
Yes.
first Hellblade, and what Hellblade is about to become.
Oh
Yeah,
gosh, yeah.
isn't it? And what you're talking about, Deal, when you speaking of bugs in games,
Mhm.
you there are so, like you use layers. There are so many layers and so
Mhm.
many gameplay aspects to a Todd Howard game
Yes.
where none of us are going to play the game exactly the same.
Yeah.
And that's what I like to what I saw when I look at a game, I'm only looking at gameplay and seeing how can I not die? And when they could have gone into a house this way, a certain way, in Redfall, and he chose not to, and he entered the house from a rooftop. I
Yep.
said, okay, now this is my kind of game, because I don't want to go the conventional way. And it seemed like the game had a lot of stealth elements in the game. And I'm the type that loves Splinter Cell way more than Metal Gear Solid,
Yeah, same
because
here.
I could hang on a pipe unlimited for 45 minutes waiting for the right moment to drop on a guard and choke him out without killing him so I could
Yep.
get a higher score at the end of the game. That's me. That's why I like Gears so much. That's why I like Halo so much. No one's going to play the game the same.
Right.
And that's what
Exactly.
I'm looking forward to. And you guys know I don't like Grand Theft Auto 5, but when I played the game, I realized there's so many different ways to play this game. And when you listen to 6 podcasts and everyone has something different to say, that's gameplay. That's what I like. That's what I look forward to in a game.
Hey, yeah, man. I'm with you there. Um, I'm with you there big time. And before Daya jumped in, she said PSVR 2 will flop, but not without any efforts from the gaming media and fanboys fighting hard for it. Yeah, yeah, Daya. Like we are all saying, PlayStation VR 2, that thing is dead on arrival.
Yeah.
I've actually never seen a product, guys, that was dead that was dead this early before it came out.
Yeah. Well, the PSVR, it's a good having a good product
Hold
is
on,
not
dear.
enough.
Dear, hold on a second. Let me put you on the spot. You've never been put on the spot before.
Okay.
Put you on the spot real quick. Hey, here's the thing. You said PSVR is going to flop, but
Yeah.
what about Sony's marketing? I thought their marketing was just so great. Where's the marketing effort? How do you explain that, dear?
That's why I was going to ask, where is the marketing? It's like, where's Waldo? I can't find it. You know? I mean, my goodness, I don't even know when that thing's coming out. So I think Sony knows it. Okay, they brag when they are when they really think they have a win. That I think they know this was a mistake. They can't go back on it. They have to commit to it. But they're gonna try to absorb this loss, but they see that coming.
Yeah.
That's what my opinion on it.
And it's funny because years ago, Phil Spencer was asked about PlayStation VR, and he pretty much said there isn't a market for it.
Mhm.
And as we come and see, yeah, there really isn't. Sony, Sony Zinc, I'm told, are marketing geniuses when they
Right.
put their console on the side of buildings in New York City and stuff,
Absolutely.
right? When they put Spider-Man on a subway because I guess he swings around in subways now or something.
Correct.
I don't know.
And you said something else interesting, Unlimited. You said, man, what did you just said it about that game? and I knew I was going to forget it. I usually write these things down. So I'll think of it. But go ahead. No, Phil Spencer. You brought up Phil Spencer. Phil Spencer, not only, what did you say he said?
Oh, he said that there isn't a market for PlayStation
Not only
VR.
that, he also said it's not too accessible now because there's too many wires hooked up to the machine. It's too many wires hooked up to your head. And I always thought that was interesting. Also, that you're playing this game and there are too many wires attached to it instead of it being a free roam game like Connect that everybody in the media hated. That did really well. But that was another thing. Go ahead about what you were saying.
Oh yeah. Well, listen. Channel. I want to address Channel's comment as well because he said, PlayStation VR games all got a 7, but the system got a 9. Imagine if Xbox One came out with nothing but mid games. Yeah. Listen. Well, the lie that they try to tell us is that Xbox has those games, except with Xbox, I could name games from now until like 2027. Meanwhile, with Sony, all I know they got is Spider-Man 2 and yeah, that's it.
No, Wolverine is coming, and we haven't seen nothing about that. And here's the best thing.
Wait. What gameplay have they shown?
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Here's a better one that tops all of that. They have 10 games as a service games. We don't even know the names of them. We know nothing. Sony is allowed to just say anything. Oh yeah, we'll go. Sony's gonna have this one. No one questions them. No one.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Yes, Sony somehow got this mystical benefit of the doubt that in Xbox needs to prove so much that people think Todd Howard's got to prove his weight in gaming. It's just so baffling to me that's even the case.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I'm glad Dia jumped on. What else you got, Dia, for the show here? I saw you in a couple other comment sections. I was hoping you'd get on one of the shows. Go ahead.
Yeah, I've been trying. I had a busy week last week, so I couldn't do anything. So, but I was keeping my ear to everything. So I did watch videos, but it was much later. So but I guess the one thing that was really getting under my skin is this. I know that we are sick of the ABK deal thing, but there's just some things that I wanted off my chest about it.
Yeah, speak on it.
The fact that some people actually believe that Microsoft is going to actually consider carving off Activision or Blizzard was beyond me. It was like I was looking, I couldn't believe I was hearing this. Like Microsoft wouldn't even be a $1 trillion company if they would do something. I would go to Washington. Where are they at? They're in Washington.
Redmond,
okay.
Washington.
I would show up there. They see a black woman walking up there.
Hey, roll over here and pick me up too. Pick me up first.
Right, we both get there, and then all of a sudden I would drag Phil out, and I would just whip on him in front of everybody. You know better. You should. If they did something like that, so look, okay, they're not going to carve off. They're not going to pay $70 billion for
it wouldn't even be worth $70 billion.
It would break the deal. Okay. They're not going to pay that for that deal. Okay. I don't care if they got King. They're not going to do it. King is not worth $70 billion.
No.
Another thing is, I don't, people's like, well, they're going to do it. They're willing to do it. No, they're not. Microsoft has been controlling this deal from day one. Okay. When everything is said and done, they're going to have Sony's going to accept the 10-year deal. They're not going to have a choice, okay? Because the EU, I'm sorry, not the EU, but the CMA,
both of them,
they're going to be forced to make a decision. Block Microsoft, because Microsoft is going to take it no matter what. They're not going to stop them from buying it, okay? The FTC can't stop them either, by the way. I'll say that. But if the CMA denies it, guess what? The UK players won't get it. That's what's going to happen. Or they'll find some loophole around it, but they're not going to give up Activision because they'll be giving up either they'll take the studios and they'll give up the IPs and all. They're just not going to do it. It's not even possible. So I don't know why people thought Microsoft would even do that. Like, do they even know this company? And so that was really getting under my skin. I was just like screaming at my computer screen.
Yes.
Like, please stop saying that. They're not going to do that. This deal will go through. They are going to make some concessions, but nothing that they weren't already prepared for. The deal is still on track because they said June of 2023.
Correct.
I think it was June or July, and and they're up there praising Sony for dragging it out. Sony has the only thing, I know, thank you. Only thing Sony has done is try to make things harder. They've confused the regulators. That's it. That's all they've done.
Confused them by lying.
That's it.
Yeah.
And they've also exposed the gaming industry. They've exposed themselves, because I will tell you this. I predict this. At some point, one of these regulators, I don't know who, they're going to go back, because remember, they can always go back to a deal and re-examine it. They just recently bought Bungie. They can go back and look at that and say, well, Sony was saying all this stuff about Microsoft. Let's take a look at that deal and what that's actually going to entail,
The only reason they won't do that with Bungie is because Bungie told them that, hey, bro, we for the streets. All of our games are still going to be multiplayer.
Yeah,
so they done. They out. Oh, as Fred Flintstone spelled out, O-W-T.
Yeah. They did do that, yeah.
Go ahead, dear. You on a roll.
I don't even want to interrupt her.
Right.
Yeah, I got to do this for you. I got to do this for you right now.
Oh,
that E-Rock clap. Hey, dude, I almost walked off the show. 'Cause my boy and I talk about this all the time. There's no, and like you said, they don't know Microsoft. We studied Microsoft in school. They don't, when they want something, they are not going to stop. People always think that Microsoft is soft, man. Ask IBM how soft Bill Gates is, because they thought that they could just run Bill Gates over and buy his little company, his little Microsoft company. Wouldn't happen. Okay. Xerox the same way. Wasn't happening. Dude, only thing I disagree with you, dear, I love this. I absolutely love the ABK deal. Hogue Law had this one stream that was like 6 hours and 50 minutes. I listened to the entire thing. It was like re-educating myself in the college of business. It was amazing. But the thing is, Microsoft is not going to stop. And just like people thought, this is because of cell phones. Zalka was saying this. This doesn't have anything to do with Call of Duty. Hey, now what do you think?
Right.
Okay, and if since Halo is worth 5.5 billion, at worst, Call of Duty must be 15, $20 billion.
Exactly.
That would totally destroy that $68.7 billion that Warren Buffett still have some stock in. He was like, hey, nah, man, I want the rest of my money. Okay. No way in the world they're going to carve off pieces of Activision because of freaking Sony.
Right.
Dude, I did the same thing you done. I would just stop working and look at my phone and say, are they crazy? Dustin, Tuckmaster's favorite guy, Dustin Legary, is over here talking about that could happen. No, Dustin, it cannot happen.
Right. It's never going to happen.
Ever.
Exactly.
I've always told people this deal is 100% locked. The key was this. 98% of the shareholders voted for the acquisition. 98%. And they don't even need 98%. I think they need somewhere like 48 or 52 or 51% because the shareholders voted the board in to make critical decisions like that. So they didn't even need 98%. And no CMA. CMA is only 1/6 of the video game universe. Nobody gives a shit about the CMA. No one cares. Okay, no one cares. You're not going to be able to tell two American companies what they can or cannot do. Not happening. It's just not happening.
Yeah.
Hey, and then what makes it so bad is this. Just imagine AMC came out with their verdict. What the other day they said they out of it. They said there's no reason why we should not.
FTC?
They said there's no reason why we should not let this deal go through.
Who said that? Who said that, Tuck?
Who said that, Tuck?
It's the AMC.
AMC
or the ACM, whatever the name is.
You mean from the United States, Tuck?
No, not the FTC. Not the FTC.
You mean the CMA from the UK?
Not the CM. Not the CMA. It's the one before that. The one that did all this stuff before everything, before the CMA even got involved in it.
Well, the only three that's complaining are the FTC, the CMA, and the EU.
EU, yeah.
But everybody else is like, man, whatever, you know.
Yeah, everybody
Well,
else is cool with it.
It's one of them regulators that they say they don't have no stake in the deal. There's no reason why they should not let this thing go through.
It was Brazil. I think that's what you're
Brazil,
talking about.
that was beautiful what they
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
That was early on. Brazil, they really laid in on Sony.
They did.
Yeah, they did. That was beautiful.
Yeah. And to be fair, Xbox is pretty big in Latin America, so I'm not surprised at all. The CMA comes off as like they're trying to protect special interest, if you will. That's how they come off to me. And you know, as Dea was putting it perfectly and so elegantly, as E-Rock likes to say when people go off, Microsoft subpoenaed Sony to get new information, and Sony has not responded at all. It's to the point, Zinc, Tuck, and Dea, where Bobby Kotick of Activision was like, Sony ain't even answering our calls. Why? Because they don't want the truth come out. They don't want their dirt to come out. See, Sony. But back in the day, I used to be a big fan of WCW wrestling. Their catchphrase was "Where the big boys play." So Sony's playing with the big boys. Microsoft is a different level. These tech companies, Sony is learning, they play a different game than what Sony's used to. And now that their dirt could possibly be exposed, they trying to tuck and hide, but at the same time try to put out this almost sad and pathetic image of woe is me. How are we going to survive without Call of Duty? Not Microsoft problem. All right, it's not Microsoft. Sony's survivability is not Microsoft's responsibility.
Exactly.
Go ahead, dear. Did you hear about this?
About what? See, Microsoft.
About what Unlimited is talking about, how Microsoft subpoenaed Call of Duty. I'm sorry, Sony for all of their records, and what they were really digging for is Sony's contracts, the deals that they had with other publishers. Well, you have to give us this. You can't release this on Game Pass, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
I want to see that. Like I would do anything, sell my soul to see that. I really want that to come out. So honestly, if any like silver lining is with this whole deal, besides Microsoft actually getting them, it would be this. I've wondered this for a long time. I hope this comes out. I really do. I want to see what they're doing, because I have my suspicions of what they've done. I can't prove anything. No one can really. But the deals, oh my gosh, I would love to know. I would love to know, like, how long are some of these deals that we don't even know about yet?
Correct.
Because I know they're still making deals.
And then not only that, Dea, their type of Sony's deals, and this is what I don't like about Sony. Their deals is like, how can we keep content off X, in this case Xbox, right?
Yeah.
And so they'll literally pay for games like Resident Evil 8 to not come to Game Pass. When Microsoft does deals, it's always, what can we do to prop up Xbox? And so their deals are always somehow, it's always beneficial to say the Xbox gamer. That's why as a consumer, I'm strongly pro Xbox, because I'd rather live in a world where the content I'm supporting is coming to me, not knowing that some multiplat isn't coming, or something crazy like you can't play Spider-Man in the Avengers games because Sony is paying for a character to stay off the platform, which is just it's not, see, stuff like that is why PlayStation's worth $45 billion and Xbox $600 billion, because of stupid business stuff like that. Why waste money on stuff like that? Only reason is that they know how to play dirty. And Sega Man, hey, thank you for joining us.
Oh yeah, my guy.
Hey, what's up, Sega Man?
Sega Man?
What's going on?
Hey,
Sega Man.
Hey,
how you doing?
I want to ask y'all one question. Now, it's strange that Forspoken, is that exclusive on Sony for 2 years?
Apparently,
that's what I hear. Yeah,
it is 2 years.
I say apparently because remember, another Square Enix game, Final Fantasy VII remake was a quote 2-year exclusive, but we're 3 years in and no sight of an Xbox release.
Right.
But see, that's strange to me because they, Square Enix said they're not making any money.
They're not.
Yeah, they said that. And they said
these deals with Sony.
They said Sony is holding back innovation.
Yeah, I think Sony has something on Square. I don't know what it is, but
pictures or something.
I don't know what it is.
It's
either.
something else that we don't know about. A lot of people just think, oh, they're just sabotaging themselves. They're not. Something else is going on with that deal.
Yeah, everybody keeps saying that Sony's going to buy Square. But my argument to that is, okay, if they buy it now, it's a waste of money because the good studios they sold off.
That's true.
Sony won't own Tomb Raider. The Tomb Raider, one of the most iconic female protagonists in gaming history. They're not going to own that. They're not going to own the devs who made the Marvel deals like Guardians of the Galaxy or Marvel's Adventure and reap the benefits there. What are they going to do? Give us another Final Fantasy, a series that I remind you peaked in 1997?
Look, this is what I would have did with those other IPs. If I was ready to get rid of them, I would use Microsoft as a dangling little carrot, and then I would have used Embrace It and let them fight it out. Raise that price up, then sell it. It makes no sense because they knew Microsoft was interested in those IPs because Phil Spencer spoke about that before. Okay. Yeah. And also they had a working relationship with them. So why would Square suddenly sell that off for so little? Even Embracer can. So what they do, sell off Tomb Raider for even more money than they had to pay Square for it. Yep. The IP. So I don't know. It doesn't make sense, their behavior. Like if something doesn't make sense, it means that it's some information missing. I know that it's something else that we're not seeing there, and I don't know what it is. It is sabotaging that company. I don't believe that their company is going to make it out of this gen. I've said this before. There's no way they can survive out this gen. I think this is it for them. And another thing too, their IP, Final Fantasy VII, that would have been the IP to rake in as much money and goodwill as they could have, and they didn't. They ticked off. Like I'm a fan of Final Fantasy VII. There's other people, but they're all on different systems. Some are on Nintendo, some are on PC, some are on Xbox. And that they're locking it to Sony, assuming that people have grown older who used to play Final Fantasy VII, because a lot of the younger people are not playing it. Okay, it's a certain age group that's playing it. They have cut themselves off from so many people that was interested in the game that would have bought it. Everything. I think they've hurt themselves because if you take your best IP and do that with your best IP. There's really nowhere for them to go from here, and they have to be praying for another Final Fantasy VII, and that's not going to happen. They have so much bad will, in my opinion, and whatever it is Sony has on them won't allow them to really, except for really old titles. Maybe they can do that with Xbox, probably under Sony's approval, but they won't give them anything, and I think they won't get anything else. Whatever it is they talked about. Because like a good example of that is Octopath Traveler. That was already on Game Pass. I bought that. And I was like, okay, that's good. The second one I heard it was coming out. I'm like, oh man, I can't wait till that comes. I didn't care if it was in Game Pass or not. I would have bought it, But to not come to the entirety of the system, the ecosystem.
Who made that
game? Square did. Yes,
There you go. And that's what I was about to say before I let Sega Man go. 100 always said, is they get Japanese handouts. They always do. And now that Octopath Traveler blew up on the Xbox, and now the second one is only on Nintendo and PlayStation, and you just skip the Xbox? Really?
That's called terrible business management. I don't care what anybody says. Why would you cut yourself off to the millions of Xbox players? A game that was previously on Xbox, that had success on Xbox and Game Pass, that you got paid to put on Game Pass, and you said, you know what? Yeah, we made good money off that, but screw Xbox. Just terrible management. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Sega Man, how are you, man?
Hey, brother. What's going on? Catch me up, because I didn't get the beginning of the show. What's going on? Catch me up.
Yeah, man. First and foremost, the the first topic was on Saudi Arabia is now Nintendo's largest investors, and I just asked a simple question:
Oh, wow.
Are people going to boycott Nintendo now? And the reason why I asked that is because we all know Saudi Arabia currently has a, if you will, questionable history of how they treat people in their country, at least from modern sensibilities, if you will. And I'm mostly playing devil advocate on this, Sega, man, because
Yeah.
my thing is like business is business, and I'm not gonna sit here and fight every freaking injustice because that's impossible. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
That's
man.
just, and it's impractical. I just find it funny that Nintendo gets money from Saudi Arabia, gets no backlash, but Hogwarts Legacy had quote unquote protests when the creator J.K. Rowling had literally nothing to do with the development.
True that. Man, that's crazy. I think I heard something about that Unlimited. Then I seen on the news this morning that I guess Nintendo opened up something at a theme park or some kind of like it look. I forgot where it was, but they opened up something where these kids can come in and play. It looks like a Nintendo castle and like it's at Disney or something. Something they opened up, man. I didn't catch most of it, but I seen where the leader of Nintendo was there, and they opened some kind of play place or something like that for kids and stuff like that. I can't remember where it was at, but it's brand spanking new. But I can't remember where it was at though. Unlimited. It looked kind of cool, the kids. It's like I said, it was towards kids. The kids were all happy, everybody going in there all happy and stuff like that. But with Nintendo and Saudi Arabia, man, dude, I want to be honest with you, Unlimited, everybody on the, on the panel, I didn't know nothing about that, man. Wow. Yeah. That's something else there, bro. Man.
Yeah, Unlimited got me with that too. I didn't know anything about it.
Me either.
And what's the thing with the Square Enix? They're gonna.
Oh, with Square Enix, why did we bring up Square Enix? I don't know. They're a terribly run company. We're probably comparing them to something.
Is Sony gonna buy them or something like that?
They keep giving Sony handouts.
Yeah, that's what it was. Because Octopath Traveler, if you remember, Sega Man, was on Game Pass.
Yeah, it was. I downloaded it. Yeah.
Yep. And the second game is skipping Xbox, right?
Wow, really?
Yeah. And games like Forspoken is a Square Enix game. The Final Fantasy games, Square Enix games, and they're all skipping Xbox basically. And I don't know if you remember, Sega Man, but last year, towards the end of last year, they said that the Japanese market is no longer sustainable.
Yeah,
they're gonna do I guess try to hit wider audiences. We're not seeing that. And I guess they gotta work through these current contracts with Sony, whatever it may be. But it is kind of weird to me, Sega Man, that on one hand they say the Japanese market isn't sustainable, yet they cower down to the Japanese console.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it around the same time when they said that? Correct me if I'm wrong, Limited, that the Series S was selling good over in Japan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And the best one, Dia smoked my favorite topic. Talking about people were excited that the CMA said, well, we think you should sell off part of the ABK deal and don't include Call of Duty, which would absolutely never, ever happen. And that made Dia just pull her hair out. And I have a bald fade and I pull my hair out too. So, that was another topic.
If I had hair, I'd be pulling it out too, man. So I'm with you there.
Yeah, man. So that's what we were talking about, man. And of course, the chats have been over the last couple of weeks, man. Our chat is on. I like to interact with the chat, but sometimes like a day like this, there's so many comments, it is kind of hard to keep up. We can still do it.
Yeah. So I'll just address the comments when I can. But Sega Man. Oh, another thing, Sega Man. You saw the Redfall lie?
No, I did not.
It's not even a controversy. It's just a flat out lie. So articles yesterday, like this one on screen, said that Redfall physical release will only include a code and no disc. Yet, as I pulled from their website, the physical retail version of Redfall for Xbox will come with a Blu-ray disc. And it's kind of funny, Sega Man, how just like earlier this week when they lied about Game Pass cannibalizing sales, that wasn't true. As they were referring to 12 months later, no game sells better 12 months later. there's still this lie. So we get another lie towards Xbox in the form of Redfall. So yeah, I would like to get your thoughts on that. For me, Sega Man, it was always the angle of lying where I noticed that unfortunately these articles impact people because they'll read the headline. People like Dreamcast guy, the chat pointed out, he made a video about this lie and they never apologize. They never correct themselves. It's always just they put the lie out there and people run with it. And so that's why I hate this stuff. But like for me, Sega Man, nothing gets under my skin until you start lying to my face, basically.
Yes.
And this is a situation like that.
Do you guys think all this stuff that's coming out, like the cannibalism of Game Pass and stuff, do you think this is the Activision Blizzard effect that they got to come out with all this, bull crap, about Microsoft and different things that are going on over there? Like, for instance, like you said, the Redfall thing. I don't know, man. I think because they know it's coming closer and closer, as me and Unlimited and a lot of people have always said. I watched that one interview with that dude interviewing the one dude, I can't remember his name, about the Activision Blizzard, and he even said, I can't remember what interview that was, but he said it's going through.
Yeah.
He said that it's going through. It was them two white dudes, the one older guy. I can't remember.
Michael Pachter.
I think it was Michael Pachter and some other dude. I watched that whole interview, and he said he said like stuff that we're saying, Unlimited, and that we've been saying. It doesn't. It's going through, whether they like it or not. It's the deal is going to go through, man. And I think they, in my opinion, I could be wrong. I think they're trying to just start all kind of stuff because of the negativity around these trolls and stuff out here that just don't want that acquisition to happen. So they have to come and make up all kind of stuff like with Game Pass and the thing that Unlimited has up here with Redfall. They got caught in a lie with that too, saying it was only going to be a digital code. And here, like Unlimited said, and then it says in the paragraph here, there's going to be a Blu-ray disc.
Yeah,
and here different things.
And here's a kicker, Sega Man. Thank you, Tuck, for bringing this to my attention. The God of War Collector's Edition came with a code and no disc. Yeah, it was such a non-controversy. I didn't even know that until Tuck told me.
I'm always thinking they came with a physical copy, not a digitally.
Yeah, that's what I would have assumed too. But no, that came with a digital copy, and yet no outrage. It's weird. And that's another thing, Sega Man, Dea, Tuck, and Zinc. It's always so one-sided that the only conclusion we could ever come to is that there's some kind of agenda against Xbox, right? Sony is never held to even remotely close to the standard Xbox is, even though Xbox, I think at this point we know, is objectively the better platform.
Yeah,
that's another one for you, dear. You heard about how everyone was running with the article. They read one line and didn't read anything else, and they said Xbox is cannibalizing sales with Game Pass.
Oh yeah.
12 months later, a calendar year after being.
That's what I said. The same thing, like 12 months. That's actually normal for most games. Like, what are they talking about?
Yeah,
like no game is selling at top price after 12. In fact, I've seen sales come up 3 months after the game's release. We're getting sales quicker and quicker now. So I don't understand what they were talking about.
Hey, Dia, guess what I just bought today with the publisher sale, and I could not believe the price, and I had to buy it. I bought the Hot Wheels thing for $10.
Oh,
wow.
Nice.
I would have did that.
Originally $49.99, $10, 80% off. I have it on Game Pass, Dia, but I had to get it because I said that is a good deal.
That's a
if I don't get
good
that
deal.
$10.
Yeah.
Oh, I had to do it. I had to do it.
Yeah. Oh, I love a good deal like that too. And we got to talk about the final topic for tonight. This article to me is just nothing but comedy. I saw it earlier today, this might be one of the top 5 funniest articles I've ever seen.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me!
And as you see on screen. And as the article states, and this article's nonsense, by the way. If you read it, you're going to go halfway through, and you're actually going to be like, "Why am I reading this shit?" Microsoft should sell its Xbox business to Sony PlayStation.
Oh my god!
And the gist of it is basically, if the Activision Blizzard deal goes through, Microsoft should think of selling Xbox to Sony. Now, we all have functional brains here. We all know how to we all have basic motor functions. So if you got that, if your brain doesn't eat that, you should at least have enough sense to know that this is nonsense. But still, Tuckmaster, I'm gonna start with you, my friend. We got to talk about it, man.
Here I am, fellas. Well, hey, for number one, okay, wishful thinking. If the number one, Sony cannot afford it. Let's get that straight.
Correct.
You just took what I was going to say.
And Microsoft would never do that to people anyway. This guy right here he's a media bias guy. He likes Sony and it's irrelevant. And man, it's like, okay, once I heard about that, I was like, man, I said, like, why do people they just hate on Microsoft for no reason at all, for none. So that's my whole object on that deal. So no, I mean, it don't make no damn sense about what that guy said. So they just wishing. I mean, right now, I'm gonna tell you right now, fellas. I think they really want. To me, they want the IPs that Microsoft want right now.
Yeah, of course. Sorry to cut you off there, Tuck, but of course they do. Who wouldn't want Starfield? Who wouldn't want the Bethesda catalog?
Right.
Who wouldn't want the biggest first-person shooter ever in Halo? Who wouldn't want the third-person shooter so iconic it defined the seventh generation in Gears? Who wouldn't want the greatest racing franchise ever in Forza? I would want them too. The problem is, if they want it so bad, make it yourself. Oh, that's right, they can't. Let's not forget. Not Zinc, but Tuckmaster. Sony literally said to Brazil they can't make multiplayer games that compete.
They sure did.
Yep, they sure did.
But you let Gaz and a few of these other guys say Sony have the best developers. They can make anything. Sony has been trying to make a Halo killer for 23 years. So how are you going to all of a sudden make a Call of Duty killer?
Oh man,
that's absolutely impossible.
Wow.
Yeah, and real quick, Jeremy Brown, the Xbox queen on this panel, her name is Dea4568, and as you see, she is absolutely fantastic.
That's actually not her name.
She is good. She is real good.
Her real name is the First Lady of Chat.
That's right.
My apologies. The First Lady. I should always say it formally too. The First Lady at Chat, Dea4568. Anything short of that is disrespectful. My bad.
Correct. Thank you, Committee Smith.
Boy, man, please. I'm gonna leave it at that, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hey, and let me pivot over to my girl Dea. So Dea, you know that this is silly. You know that this is comedy.
Yeah.
But still, I just want to get your thoughts. On what universe, what parallel universe is Microsoft selling Xbox to Sony?
Never. Okay, never. All right. I think either this person was trying to fuel the console war, or they really believe that Microsoft is going to lose, and even if they lose, Microsoft wouldn't let Sony get that property. I think that. I'm sorry, Activision wouldn't do it. That relationship is destroyed. So
yeah.
And Sony knows it too. The fact that they wouldn't even return their calls tells you everything. I mean, they know it. Because if you actually respect your business partner or feel there was some room there to still mend things, you wouldn't do that. So they know it too. They know it's no coming back from it. And I'll also add this, a little bit off the subject here, but that Microsoft wins all the way around with this deal. And I think this is what's driving everybody crazy. Okay. If Microsoft says you can put it in PS Plus, they make all this money. They don't care. Okay. Again, Microsoft is controlling this deal. Remember how I told you before that Phil Spencer is really smart and that he knows exactly what he does. He takes calculated moves. Microsoft does the same thing. They all think alike. Okay, they've controlled this thing from the very beginning. They gave us an estimated time about how long this would take for it to sell, and it's falling into place. Everything they've said is falling into place. I think people need to stop underestimating Microsoft. And also, I'll add, getting back onto the subject, that Microsoft, the Xbox division is worth far more than Sony could ever afford. Mm-hmm. It is. I mean, they got single franchises. Like, could they afford a Minecraft and a Halo. I mean, a Halo in and of itself.
Oh,
Can they afford,
yeah.
Forza? Either one of them. Can they afford them? No. Flight Sim. I mean, I can go on and on. They have the best games in the industry in just those titles alone. Okay, they have the best company in Bethesda that makes the best Western RPGs. I mean, I would love to say just Skyrim, but it isn't just Skyrim. You got a lot of titles and stuff like Fallout that are just fantastic. So they couldn't afford them. I mean, Microsoft has just been picking the very best at the very top, and now they're going to have Call of Duty. They couldn't even afford Call of Duty to go into PS Plus, let alone buying the Xbox division. So I just think this was a joke.
Well, dear, I really can't officially catch you on a lie because we don't think you lied. But pertaining to the biased media, you're a liar because Sony have the greatest games, even though they're not billion-dollar franchises like you just stipulated.
Yep.
So how do you get yourself out of this?
Just 3 of those titles would be too much for Sony to handle. Just 3 without Call of Duty. You don't even have to throw that in there.
Yeah.
That's how they underestimate how much Xbox actually makes. It makes a lot of money. So
yeah,
I don't know. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. You're. Oh, go ahead, Chuck.
You know what? And this was hard. The hard fact is that Sony is only asking for, and this is the strangest thing about this whole thing with Sony. Sony, they just want one. They just want one game. They don't want any other game.
They just want one game.
That's it.
I mean, that baffles me. You only want one game out of all the catalogs that they got. I mean, that baffles me right there. And then they want to try to hold this thing up as much as they can, but they can't do it. And the thing about it is, let's say if it doesn't go through. I mean, which you know it is gonna go through. Okay. You think Activision is gonna do business with Sony?
They hate them. And then people say it's just business. They'll forget all of that. No, they will not. It don't work like that. No,
this is
not when you messing around with people's money. It is
real. That's real money, dear. That's real money. That's not fake
You're
money.
messing with the money.
Yeah, listen. All that's going to happen, Tuck, is all that's going to happen is that everybody, Activision, Microsoft, they're going to go to their lawyers and they're going to bring upon more lawsuits than Sony could ever handle.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's all that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Let's keep going. Y'all can keep going because that was great points, dear. Because I'm coming back to dear. Y'all go ahead and finish.
They need to leave it alone while they can. That's all they do. They just leave it alone. Leave it alone while they can, because, like you said, this is gonna wind up biting them in the butt in the long run.
And people like Unlimited and myself, we love it when Sony wastes money like this.
Yeah.
Jeff Ryan is literally flying around the world trying to stop this deal that's not going to stop. It's the same thing as Unlimited and our favorite guy, Colin Moriarty, thinks that Sony is doing great by investing in these little companies. You do nothing without ownership. That's why Sony is stagnant. They will never grow. Think about it. Everybody swearing now Sony has been leading for 2 decades. If you've been the leader for 2 decades, why don't you have the money to buy
That's
Zen?
right.
Why don't you have the money to buy Minecraft?
Right, Zink, tell them.
Why don't you have the money to buy Activision? Because you wasted your money getting these little bitty things that you don't own. They don't even own Spider-Man, so they can't even reap the benefits of Spider-Man. So
Hey, Adam Zink, let me ask you this. Now, you've been back in the doggone day, they had military shooters.
SOCOM.
Military shooters. So what happened to them?
They couldn't. Well, my fault, Unlimited. Unlimited. I know you can't wait to catch me in a lie. They couldn't nurture SOCOM. That's what the problem was. They couldn't nurture SOCOM to bring it up to the level of a Halo, like Microsoft bought Bungie in 1999 and nurtured it to $5.5 billion. Sony couldn't nurture SOCOM enough to build it up to $1 billion franchise. So they continue to fail.
Yep.
And I also add this too about they're not going to make anything that's going to compete on the level of Call of Duty. I don't care if they have Bungie, they can have 15 Bungies. It's not going to happen. All right. They're not going to outdo Activision, but they're like a well-oiled machine. They know how to pump those games out every year. And although sometimes it falters, which is understandable with what was happening with that company,
Correct.
the stress that they were under, you know, a lot of other things were going on. But when that gets cleaned up with the expertise and the experience that those developing teams have, and Microsoft have access to that, they think if they couldn't come up with something to take out Halo, they're not going to come up with something to take out Call of Duty. I'm sorry, SOCOM is not going to be another Call of Duty.
Dia, let's stay with what you just said. You said they're a well-oiled machine. That's a well-oiled company. COVID-19 struck everyone in some capacity. They struck Call of Duty as well, but Activision was like, you know what? You 8 studios over here, stop what you're doing, get Call of Duty out. They had 9 teams working on one game because that one game is the bread and butter of the company. Outside of the cell phone game that I think Dr. Baca said.
Candy Crush, yeah.
Crush, $28,000 on microtransactions. But you know, Call of Duty is it. So they put 9 teams on it, and people talking about, well, maybe they could get one of those teams to make this kids game. Man, they ain't thinking about that shit. Okay,
no,
they thinking if you stabilize the cash cow, now once it's stabilized, now you can pick money from the cash cow to build around it and build your portfolio from that point.
Yeah. Now I'll say this, and I'm gonna address Jay Dizzle's comment in a second. I'll say this with Activision. My excitement for Activision isn't really Call of Duty. I understand the importance of it, but I can't wait until those companies like High Moon can make other games again. Because let's not forget, prior to recently, Activision, they used to make the Transformer games. They had some Nickelodeon contracts, the Ninja Turtles games, the Spider-Man games. So the Marvel Ultimate Alliance games. So their track record is actually pretty good. But before they lost those rights, those licensing rights, and just became COD support teams, and that's probably was a good way to keep everybody working and you know to support Call of Duty as technological demands increase. And also I'm one of those people who's against making Call of Duty a multi-year game. Keep it annual until the day Call of Duty Inc., Daya and Tuck and Sega Man, until the day Call of Duty is not the best-selling game every year, 15 years in a row. I would not stop releasing them yearly. I'm sorry, I just wouldn't.
And Unlimited, what you're saying is that in construction, we have this thing called a contingency plan. When something bad happens, whether it be weather or something just drastically happens, the unexpected happens. The unexpected happened. Contingency plan goes into effect. Everybody over there. Okay, you have to get this part of the building finished right now, and then we could filter out and go elsewhere. They just had to stop what they were doing, and like a well-oiled machine, it's just like anything. Sometimes you have to go to the horse so everything will smooth itself out. They just had to go to their moneymaker. All hands on deck is what I'm saying. And to put it in layman's terms, all hands on deck. That's what they had to do. Put everybody on Call of Duty because that is our moneymaker. It had to come out. Now, once everything is calmed down, now they'll be able to go and do other things and finish the rest of the building. You know what I mean? So I do want them to finish other games, you know, like Microsoft now have a lot of irons in the fire right now. And if you notice these fake podcasts that's going around, you see they don't have a podcast if they're not talking about Xbox.
Yes, true.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great point. You know, and Jay Dizzle here said Xbox is a monopoly, but trying to buy Activision, but they want Microsoft to sell Xbox to Sony. You seriously can't make this up. Yeah, that's how ridiculous they are. The monopoly stuff, they don't even believe that. It's just one of them words. It's one of them words. How can I put it, man? It's one of the words they don't know the meaning of. They just know that it's some loosely associated with businesses, right? So they just do that out. There's a monopoly. It's a monopoly. Hey, but Sega man, I'm a pivot to you. You there, Sega man?
I'm here, brother.
Yeah, so I want to get your thoughts, man. In what universe, conceivable universe, what Marvel villain, if you will snap his fingers and then the Xbox is selling to Sony, man? Because this article, it's hilarity. It's pretty much, to sum it up, they're saying if the Xbox, the Activision deal, falls through, Microsoft should think of selling Xbox, a $600 billion company that's worth $600 billion, to Sony, whose PlayStation is worth $45 billion.
Unlimited, what the article should really say, all right, what it should really say is that it should say PlayStation should sell its business to Microsoft.
Correct.
That's what it really should say, because the real company that people want to deny all the time and put up a brick wall is Sony is the one that's in trouble. Mm-hmm. For instance, that new VR is not going to sell. It's an epic failure. That is not going to sell for its price at all. Only the people that are like super diehards that have the money and would like to experience the next PlayStation VR are going to buy that. The casual PlayStation guys are definitely not going to buy it. And the guys out here that always say that God of War is greatness awaits and Spider-Man is the best ever, and the what is it called, the Less of Us and all those other games, they're not going to buy it. So that's an epic fail. Sony they're in big trouble, man. They're in huge trouble. So it should be them. That's the way the article should say. PlayStation should be selling their business to Microsoft. That's the way it should be. You know what I mean? Because it's not Microsoft that's in trouble, dude. It's not. They can't be. They're too big of a company. They've been out here for the longest time, bro, in software. Sony was just making Walkmans, man, and making TVs and stereo equipment. They couldn't even touch Microsoft. You know what I mean? So that's the way it should be, Unlimited. And they don't want everybody on the panel, First Lady Chat Dia. That's the way it should be. That's what that article should say. Not the other way around. Like people saying, can PlayStation still have exclusive content of Call of Duty on the PlayStation? I'm going to say no. They shouldn't have. They shouldn't have that on there. They shouldn't have exclusive content on there. No, you don't deserve it, because you did that to Microsoft when they were over there with Call of Duty. Look how long it took for them to get stuff when it came to Call of Duty version on the Xbox. So no, PlayStation definitely does not deserve exclusive content on their system. They don't. Not after all this thing. Look at what Michael Pachter said. If you watch that interview, he even said that PlayStation is not worried about nothing but Call of Duty. They're not worried about the other developers that are over there. They're not worried about the other games that are over there. All they're worried about right now is that Call of Duty. So they're like discounting everybody else over there that's working, and it's for the PlayStation company. They're just worried about Call of Duty.
Yeah.
So what does that tell you? Unlimited? I mean, that's crazy. They're only worried about this Call of Duty. They're not worried about nothing else.
Because that's Sony's cash cow. That's where that's 17% of their discretionary income. That's their money. They use that money for every little bit. When they lose that, they will definitely be a shell of themselves in 4 years. I'm calling that right now.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely, because that's 17% of their revenue.
Yep.
You know, listen, they're fighting tooth and nail for a product they don't own, and they only have temporary contracts with, contracts that will expire soon. Mm-hmm. This is as big as a losing battle as I've ever seen, Sega man.
I think that Sony, I mean, I hate to say this, I mean, they might be able to hang in there, but they're going down with a sinking ship, man. With their business practices, with they're showing their true selves now with this Call of Duty thing. You know, we always talked about it. He bought Unlimited, E-Rock, our brother other Zinc, Tuck, Dia, everybody, 100. I mean, they've been saying this and preaching this forever about Sony's business practices, and they're really showing their true colors for what they're doing right now, and everybody's seeing that. Everybody is seeing that, man. They're even people that are gamers and stuff like that are seeing what Sony is doing. They are not worried about nothing else, guys, except for that call. They're not worried about nothing else, and that's the wrong thing to do. It's
Well,
just
that
worried about that. You know what I'm
that
saying?
tells me that's their Achilles heel.
Yeah.
They're far more dependent on that than they're letting on, and I think that's why they're so defensive. I think that this is probably some of the reason why they don't want you to see the internal documents too.
Correct.
I think it will show it, and so this is why they're burning down everything, because this is their last hurrah, in my opinion.
Great word. They are burning down everything because this is it.
This is it.
They don't have anything that can have reoccurring profits like that. And they don't have a game on deck that's going to give them that. People, and I'm going to continue to tell people this until they finally get it. Microsoft could afford to delay Starfield. They could afford to delay Redfall. They could afford to do that because Sea of Thieves is giving them steady monthly income. Halo Infinite, steady monthly income. Flight Simulator, steady monthly income. Forza, steady monthly income. That's the reason Game Pass works. They could spend money and they're still getting money back. Just like on the Xbox documentary, Steve Ballmer said, hey, dude, where are your reserves for returns? Meaning, how are you going to put this money back in and put it back in and put it back in and put it back in? Spider-Man is at point of sale only. That's it. And you're done. God of War is over.
Other Zinc and Unlimited and Tuck. There's a guy in the chat. Mike, you see Unlimited? Microsoft is buying Activision is a monopoly. How's it a monopoly?
It's not. A monopoly, for those who don't know, means that you own 90% of or more of a market, and owning Activision will not even be remotely close to 90%. I believe Satya Nadella said at most 10% or something like that.
Yeah, it's small still, because the gaming industry is so large. You have to include mobile. You know, it's big if you look at it in its entirety. So,
and credit the stupid FTC for doing that. Yeah. They were part of the reason.
I mean, the dude in the chat. I mean, I guess you're a troll, man, but you know, I think his name is Isaiah or whatever. I mean, dude. I mean, it's not a monopoly that Microsoft.
No. He wasn't. Okay, I get what he's saying.
I get what he's saying.
Yeah. He's saying Microsoft buying Activision monopoly, but Sony buying Xbox is not mental gymnastics. Yeah, he wasn't saying that. He wasn't saying that they are monopoly. He's juxtaposing this idea that Microsoft buying Activision is
okay.
monopoly,
My bad, brother. My bad.
Yeah, a lot of sarcasm in there.
Yeah,
fiery jokers in this chat, dude.
My bad, man. My bad.
And I mean, what people's not looking at, it's just like you said, Elder Zinc. Just think about it. They lose Call of Duty.
Oh my goodness.
That money is gone. That money is gone.
So and whose fault is that, Tuck?
So whatever they got plans in the future, those games gonna be on back burners, and you know they are. Because how much it costs to make these games? They using that money to help make other games for their portfolio. But they lose that money, man. Shoot, man. So you better go inside that 10-year deal.
And I'm glad you kept highlighting this, because
leave it alone.
I'm glad you kept highlighting Shisno Elite, because I keep forgetting about it and keep forgetting to go back. And he's basically saying Sony could have built SOCOM to be a Halo or Destiny. Okay, but they closed Zipper Interactive. Now, could you imagine if Microsoft closed, like everybody's still complaining that they closed Lionhead?
Yeah,
and even Sarah Bond was like, "Hey, I wish we didn't do that," you know. But Microsoft continues to get blamed for it. And SOCOM had a huge population back then. It
Yeah,
wasn't
they did.
Rainbow Six, it wasn't Ghost Recon, but it was their game that they actually had a show on Saturday that guy said more SOCOM, and they showed people playing SOCOM all the time, you know. But Sony just didn't pull a Colin Moriarty, and they couldn't nurture it.
Yeah.
They stupid ass.
It's funny because if the way Sony fans act, like Zipper Interactive should still be here pumping out quote unquote great exclusives, right? But yet that's one of many studios Sony has closed over the years.
So is that who made Cellcom?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they closed them about a decade ago.
Yeah, so basically they're going to have to start from scratch with. So see, this is the reason why I don't think Sony's going to make it, because Microsoft they've already laid down the groundwork. They're moving ahead. Okay, that's behind them.
Yeah, definitely.
PlayStation has to catch up, and there's a learning curve that they're going to have to go through. That Microsoft already went through the bumps and stuff. And let's take Halo with the gas service. They done learned a lot from this, and now moving forward, it's going to be a powerhouse. I'm telling you, watch Halo Infinite or whatever they call it. If they do another one, whatever happens with that, I'm telling you, Halo is going to be in good run because they learned a lot from this. Okay,
I agree.
Mistakes are not always a bad thing. Sometimes you can learn from it, strengthen it, and and grow from it. But Sony has not done that. They've had the industry protecting them over mistakes that they should have learned from like that, but they didn't.
Excellent point.
Okay, and then and now Sony is not and they got lazy, so they didn't invest where they needed to, and now they're in a position where they're playing catch up. It's too late. You have Google's and Tencent and Embracer all in getting involved, and even if they don't, they're not going to be a company exactly like a publisher and stuff. They're still there. They still buying up everything, and they're still a threat to Sony. Sony can't afford things on the level that they can. Only Microsoft can. So, in my opinion, Sony is never going to be what they were. If they're lucky, they'll be able to hold on by their fingertips, on the cliff. That's really it, because they have all these gas games they're making. It's going to be a ton of failures, and they're going to still be falling behind while Microsoft is still moving ahead. They've already gone through that,
Yeah, excellent stuff, Dea. And Dea, let me add to that. Sony needs to stop stealing from Microsoft and start stealing from Nintendo. Carve out your own niche in gaming, and just sell that audience who's going to be loyal to you no matter what. Because you're not playing the catch up Microsoft game is a wasted battle. You're just way too far behind.
Yeah, they are.
And with that, I'm gonna move on to Zinc, man. So we've been talking about this. So I want to get your thoughts on the matter. I know you kind of chimed in here and there, but still, let me get your thoughts on whatever multiverse out there where Microsoft sells its Xbox business to Sony.
Well, Dia smoked it, and I'm glad you said that so I could go all the way back to when Dia started this. And she listed a whole bunch of things that Sony doesn't have and how they couldn't possibly buy Microsoft anyway. They couldn't even contain it. They don't have the capacity to pull a Colin Moriarty and nurture everything that's going on.
Right.
Just Dia, I wanted to interrupt Dia, but I just couldn't. I had to let her go. Because what she basically said at the end of her last rant was Microsoft have a roadmap, and it's hardcore. Sony doesn't have one. Microsoft built the infrastructure with Azure. Now those are Xbox Series X innards in plates in these server racks. Sony doesn't have a multiplayer game. And Dia said the best thing, she culminated in saying, it's too late. And just like Sony said in court documents, it'll take us years to build an infrastructure like what Microsoft has going on with Game Pass. It'll take years to do that. Hey, Sony, I know why everybody was, like Dia said again, everyone was protecting Sony. Everyone was protecting them. And everyone is trying to downplay Game Pass. Game Pass is an engine. And it's an engine inside of Game Pass, like I just spoke on, that produce recurring profits without thinking. Just like Dr. Vaca said, someone spent $28,000 on microtransactions to the Candy Crush game. That's what they do to Halo. That's what they do to Flight Simulator. That's what they do to Sea of Thieves. They continue to pump money into these games over and over and over again. Sony is too late. They'll never be able to produce an engine like that that's just going to continue to run. So it's over.
Especially if they're not buying titles and stuff too. That would be the shortcut for them, but they can't afford it.
No.
They can't do it. They have to start from the ground up, and that's why they're buying little studios here and there. I'm sorry, I'm limited. Go ahead.
No. You spot on. You spot on. You know, the only thing I was going to say of what Zink was brilliantly putting was that look at all the metrics Sony are behind on. They're behind on cloud gaming. They're behind on service. It's to the point that if there's anything that would ever be a monopoly, it would be the service industry, gaming service industry, because according to the Brazilian documents, Microsoft currently owns 60 to 70% of the service market. Why? It's not because of shady business. It's because they were ahead of the game. And because they were so ahead of the game, Sony's PlayStation Plus relaunch has been a massive failure. They lost subscribers when they forced, because again, when the way Sony did it, like with Xbox, you can be an Xbox Live user without being on Game Pass. I don't know why you do that, but some people still do it that way. You know what I'm saying? With Sony, you have to. They forced the PlayStation Plus users to join Spartacus when they formed it into one and when they rebranded it. And then a lot of those people who don't want the service, I guess, canceled their subscription, which is why they lost up to 3 million people in that quarter last year, right?
Amazing.
And then so you look at that. You look at how far behind they are in cloud gaming. Microsoft has been on this cloud gaming thing for a long time now, and we're now seeing the fruits of their everything pay off on that end, right? So they're behind on cloud gaming. They're behind on the game as a service. Or as our brother Zink always put, the consistent revenue games like Halo, Forza, Gears, and all that, right? So in they were even behind on counting success. Because remember, Phil in 2016 said the measurement of success is not how many units we sold. What's the point of selling the Xbox if somebody only buys one game on it? Right. And he said, no, the measurement of success.
I remember that. Good point.
Yeah. And he said the measurement of success is I'd rather sell, and I'm paraphrasing here, I'd rather sell 1 million Xbox consoles, and those million people are buying games all our stores, using our services, buying our accessories like controllers and stuff, than sell 2 million, and those 2 million people buy Call of Duty once a year. Right. And so Sony was behind on that. And then later, about 4 years later, Sony said, no, the measurement of success is engagement, similar to what Xbox does. Right. So they are so behind y'all that you can't, at some point, you're so behind that you just can't catch up, man. And it just is what it is. It's the equivalent of teaching my parents to use a smartphone. You know, it's just that technology passed them so far up. You got to be patient with them on teaching it. And with Sony, they don't have the capital to play catch up. They don't have the skills to catch up. Yeah, they could make a pretty single player game. They could make a game that looks good for 10 hours. Can you make a game that lasts 10 years?
No.
And in a quick amount of time, it takes 5 years to make a game at the level that they're doing. So they don't have enough time.
Yeah. Oh, another excellent point. Sony is so hyper focused on the AAA market, Daya, that's actually shooting them in the foot, because those games take so long, especially in the era of 4K 60 and all this stuff. That now they're going to put out less games that cost more to make, and they're selling it at $70, and it's only going to make X amount of money because their strategy is sell the game, bundle it with the console. Sell the game, bundle it with the console. And all Sony games, unlike Nintendo games, go on sale like a month after it's released anyway.
Mm-hmm. And you still see God of War packed into the PS5.
Yeah.
And it's February, you know. And Gogol Poll, he over here agrees with Dear. He said 7:25 p.m. Sony knows the party is over. They're just trying to survive now. But they want to cry. Everybody's talking all of this shit. Sony is just trying to survive, and now they're making all of their games in the movies. You know, good luck, Sony.
Yeah, and the only way I think they can move forward is to start making some AA games. They're going to have to do what Microsoft is doing, it just allowing their developers to do it, because it's easy. for Game Pass, it's easier to drop a AA like a Hi-Fi or something. I don't know if that's a AA or triple. That game seemed like a AAA to me, but like a Hi-Fi Rush, and then come out with a Starfield or something later. So they're gonna have to do something like that. But are they gonna be able to get all those studios that they have to do that? Because the studios they purchased aren't really developing games. Some of them are porting things over and on. They're just playing catch up.
Right. They just giving you the same game.
That's it. In remakes or just porting it, desperate to get PC, and they don't understand the PC market. See, I look at Microsoft as synonymous with PC. I always have. They were doing PC games before they even came into console, so they understand that market.
Yeah,
and that's going to take Sony time to figure that out, how to market it, because what they do on the console is not going to work on PC. I'm gonna warn them now; it's not going to work.
Right? No.
Yeah, and and the benefit of making operating systems for PC is you understand that PC market. But I want to address Louis Fragg's comment here. He said it's funny how Sony was the one to start cloud gaming. This is why Microsoft wants the data of that, since regulators keep making the point. Yeah, so people don't know what he's referring to. They bought Gaikai for like $400 million or something like that some years ago. And that's what turned into PlayStation Now, if I'm not mistaken. Now, PlayStation Now sucked because you had to stream the games and you couldn't download them until after Game Pass came. Yeah. And even then it's so bad, you still got to stream stuff like the PS3 games. You can't download PS3 games like you could do 360 games on Xbox. So it's still like half-baked, Sega. Sega, man, I don't know how this company keeps stealing from Xbox and doing as half-baked as possible. But here we are, and it's stuff like that, man. Peabot always asks people like, what does Sony ever bring? And
right.
And stuff like that is why nobody could give a solid answer.
Well, don't forget Unlimited. When they went on there by Gaikai out, once that failed, they had to go to the Azure service.
Well, they just didn't know what the hell they were doing, and maybe they should have called Carlin Moriarty so they could nurture it. I'm never gonna let that dude off the hook.
Yeah,
never. Because Microsoft is being mismanaged. The Xbox division is totally being mismanaged. So I really don't know what Dia is talking about. That they have all of their act together and they have a roadmap and everything. They just mismanaged.
Our boy
Unlimited. Even the guy from Sony said it. Remember, he even said that they're not going to be able to catch up to Game Pass. What's his name?
Oh, yeah.
He said it himself.
Jim Ryan.
He said it himself.
In a court document, Sega, man. He said it in a court document.
Yeah.
He didn't know Brazil was going to print that shit and give it to us.
Yeah, and as I always say, listen, anytime people bring stuff like that up, Sega, man, I ask them one question. Whose responsibility is that Sony can't compete?
Yeah.
Like Satya Nadella said last year, if you want to compete, let us compete.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people want to make jokes about it, about what he said. No, he was direct in what he said, because he listens to, Phil Spencer tell him, because he got other things to do, so the different leaders of the divisions of Microsoft, they sit at a boardroom. Hey, Satya say, hey, what's going on, bro? Phil Spencer said, hey, Microsoft isn't competing. He's like, oh, yeah? Word, is that what they talking about? That's where all of these things are coming from. And I see it, man. All of the things that are being said, Microsoft is turning Jason Schreier, Ryan McCaffrey, Jez Gordon, and all of these guys' words against them in court documents. Okay, they're just giving it all back to them.
Yep. And that's the beauty of court documents. You're not going to lie to these governments.
Exactly.
Yeah. Xbox All In, also known as Sega Forever, said Tencent will buy Sony in their online and their cloud infrastructure. Will be ready by holiday 2023. Yeah, I look forward to that meltdown if that happens, man. Toolman said Redfall has a new trailer day. Oh, I'm going to check that out, man. I'm going to check that out.
Oh, yeah. Me too.
And
Sony doesn't.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, so I'm just catching up with the comments here. Smitty Smith says Sony doesn't have any return on investment. Sony has too much money going out and not enough coming in. It's over for Sony.
Yep.
That's what I was about to say, because Jeremy Brown and Smitty Smith said the same thing. And Jeremy Brown said Sony is bleeding money, and they are.
Yeah. I mean, we know this. The person who wrote this article, he knows this. It's just that Mr. Taylor Moon, he knows this. It's just that I think that there's this weird denial going on, y'all, where they just can't say it publicly that it's over until it's officially over. I don't know what's going to happen when that day comes, man.
And what they do on Unlimited is various journalists that are trying to throw shit up in the air and hoping it catches fire. Like this one lone dude said, Microsoft is they cut their marketing budget. That's why they're not going to E3. Okay. First of all, they're going to be at E3. And if you think they cut their marketing budget, why is Sony not at E3? How much of their budget was cut? Since what, 2018, 2017? Last time they were at E3? Get out of here.
I think it's 2016.
Yeah, it's been a long time. It's been a long time. Yeah. Y'all got anything else before I wrap it up?
No, man. I'm good.
No, I think that's about it.
Oh, that's what's up. Yeah. So everybody, we had a fantastic show today, and you know, I do want to shout out Daya, as always, the first lady of chat, for joining us.
She got to close the show though. So
yeah, definitely. So you know what? No, I'm gonna do outros a little differently. I'm gonna say my outro, and then I'm gonna pivot to y'all. So yeah, everybody, thank you for joining the Unlimited Truth, this special Saturday edition. I had to talk about it. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I hope you enjoyed the fantastic panel. I mean, all four of y'all, Tuck, Zink, Day, and Sega Man, just spectacular today. Words cannot words cannot show my appreciation enough. And with that, Tuck, let them know where they could find you and give us your final thoughts.
For the one, let me tell you right now, Dale, I would love for you to come on the panel permanently.
Oh wow. Thank you.
I would love to see that, because your input and everything with us is great. It's good to have a woman's opinion on gaming, and you know your stuff.
Thank you very much, Tuck.
But this is your boy DJ Tuckmaster 785. I can't stand opponents, and I know they can't stand me. And I'd be glad when the day when this stuff is all over with, so Sony can just disappear in the sunlight. So we want to worry about that ass no damn more. But with that being said, you know, hey, great show. Love it. Love the panel that we got now. I know that Limited, you know, he just took this on us at the last second, but I was glad that I got in here. But that's about it, y'all. But that's all I got to say, and peace.
Yeah, hey man, sometimes the truth is needed just out the blue, Tuck. So yeah. every once in a while, that's just gonna happen. But other Zink, as always, thank you for joining, man. Give us your final thoughts and let them know where they can find you.
Yeah, man, I represent the chat 100%, and I think I only saw our usual squad is in here, and One Punch Jedi, he was new. Shout out to him, and I don't know who's responsible for finding Dia. I don't know if it's Sega Man or it's when Dia cussed out Unlimited and said, "I'm not a dude, I'm a girl." so yeah, Tuck is right, man. I still hear her constantly on if not all of the shows, one of the shows, as often as she could come.
Yeah, I still feel bad that for like months I was saying, my brother, thank you, my brother Daya. Hey, but Sega Man, hey, give us your final thoughts and let them know where they can find you.
Hey man, I represent a smacking Tuck upside the head. Let me tell you what that boy did, man. I told him today. I'm being nice because our sister Dia's in here, but I told that Negro not to call me, and he still called me, man. I told him I was taking the wife out, and he still don't call me after I sent him the text. I'm like, damn, boy, didn't I tell you not to call me? God damn, I told you I was doing something with the wife, man. We ain't doing nothing today, but I love him. He's my brother, man. But I still love him, but he don't never listen, man. I'm gonna have to school him, man. That boy he be messing me all up.
Yeah. Tuck isn't the best at timing. He calls me in the middle of work. I'll be in a meeting And that's when Tuck want to call. Damn,
calling you,
Tuck.
waking you up. You be
Yeah,
Tuck
man.
calling you. I'm like, man, what is he calling me for? One time, man, let me tell y'all this real quick. My wife was sleeping, and this dude calls me off of Instagram. I was gonna kill his. He almost got me killed, man. Like, man, who is calling you? So I had to get on him that one day, man. But yeah, I still love him. He's my brother. It's a great show on him, and it was good to do the podcast today with the first lady that chat, Dia. Really, really nice conversation, and I'm glad you had the podcast, man. It was great talk, man. Good show. And you can always find me on my channel, Sega Man 101, the Alpha. When I do it on the weekends, if I'm not busy, with family first.
Exactly.
And you can always find me on the channel doing that, and on the Exile with our brothers, and hopefully Dea can come and join us for a couple segments on the Exile. That would be sweet. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. Hey,
and also, Dea, sometimes Sega Man will have a show like at 9 in the morning.
Yeah, it's all over the place. That's why I haven't caught it.
And so, but if you able to jump in, like the last time he did it, I was able to jump in for like 3 or 4 or 5 minutes at a time. If you could even do that and jump in the show, when Sega Man to pull some bullshit like that and have a random ass show jump on them.
Yeah, that's the little hangouts, man. But yeah, Unlimited, I gotta give my props to Unlimited. He's just come such a long way. Everybody in the chat, he's on fire, bro, with his podcast, man. I remember when he was just used to do his videos and showing his Xbox stuff and doing unboxings and talking about Xbox, and now the brother got a show and it's fire. And I'm very proud of Unlimited, man. He's doing such great work out here in these Xbox streets, man. It's a good podcast, man. So support us, guys.
Hey, one more thing. I almost forgot this before Dia goes. Say, Smitty Smith. Hey, John Lindemann said some bullshit, about the Harry Potter game. And, we were talking about it on another show, man. And this time I couldn't participate, so I'm working. Smitty Smith said John Lindemann have SpongeBob teeth, dude. I laughed at that shit every other hour, man. That shit was so funny. But go ahead, man.
Him and hey, before we close out the show, Brother Limited, Smitty Smith and Rain G4 are crazy. Rain be off the wall. Rain be having me crying. When he does GWG, I'm not saying that, Rain. I don't know why you keep putting those in the chat. I'm not saying that, Rain. He gets them all riled up. I mean, he is funny. Rain do be having me cracking up, man, when he starts talking about Sony. Man, he be having me him and other Zinc when they're in their chat. They be having me cracking up, man. Especially Rain is crazy, bro. I love that.
Yeah, man, he's hilarious. All right, and we're going to close out. As always, thank you once again from the First Lady of Chat, the new family member to the Exiled family, to the Unlimited Truth, to Xbox Alpha, and the rest. Because we got a lot of freaking podcasts.
Yeah.
We do.
But Dea, thank you once again. As always, you have been nothing but a pleasure. Wonderful insight. Zinc says he represents the chat, and I don't mean to put Zinc on blast, but you might actually represent them even better. So close out the show with your final thoughts and let them know where they can find you.
Okay, you can find me in the chat. I'm always lurking like Zinc. I like the chat a lot because the Xbox fan base is really intelligent. That's something that I saw in it. I became addicted. And Unlimited you do a fantastic show. I love your shows. I love everybody's shows though. I fell in love with everybody, but I first found you. And then I was like, oh man, everybody's good. So I started subbing to everyone. So that's a little bit of how I got around here. And I started lurking a little bit, and then I started chatting, and then I realized I'm like, okay, people are calling me brother and whatever. Like, okay, I think they think I'm a guy, like but it was funny, and and I just felt like one of you. Because I got introduced through PC, and I never had anything against Xbox, but I just didn't really know as much as you guys knew, and you educated me, and I just want to say thank you for that.
Mhm.
But what I want to leave you guys with is something that's uplifting about Xbox. I try to understand where they're thinking. And when I look at the COD, the ABK deal in COD, one thing I can see that Xbox is doing is they no longer want you guys to feel like you're inferior gamers to PlayStation gamers, where they get content that you don't get. The parity, if anything, is for you. It's for you guys to have the same content, the same enjoyment out of the same games that other people have.
Right.
So I want to leave you with that, because I really do believe that Microsoft is trying to make things right by their own fan base. So that was something that I gleaned from Sega Man when he was talking. I was like, yeah, that's what Phil and the team are doing. They're trying to make things right by their people. And so I want to leave you with that. That's a little bit of hope and optimism, out of all this negative news that people are trying to take Xbox down. They're not going anywhere. And thank you guys for accepting me. Thank you for having me here. And I really have enjoyed myself. Thank you.
Excellent stuff. All right, everybody. Have a great night. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we are out.
Peace, guys.